Is a writer and director. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Fraser. Yes, you got a whistle.
Okay, let's bring up actor and comedian Des O'Gorman, please. I made an effort today, people. Yeah. I don't know why I scraped the mask. Let's bring up our excellent editor, Anne Nicholson. Our fantastic director of photography, Julie D. Dunn. Our very handsome and talented writer, Ian Smith. And our minor writer, equally talented and gorgeous, it's Amanda Kane. Hello.
I'll let you pose for a second, mate. You're in pose on. Oh, pose. Oh, God.
So, hello. We hope you enjoyed that. Sorry, trying again. I hope you all enjoyed that.
You patronising bunch of people.
Cheap tricks. So yeah, that was our mini episode, and we're going to be shooting 5 more in the new year. Hopefully, we'll be crowdfunding starting January, and we'll have lots of cool ways for everybody here to get involved. And I'll just quickly say before I let you take over, because you're staring at me.
Oh, no, I'm fine. I'm listening.
The best question today wins a prize.
Ooh.
And I'm going to let Des decide what the best question is.
No pressure.
Yeah.
No pressure, okay.
So I'll be quiet now.
No, it's fine. So you mentioned that people can crowdsource you.
Yes.
How do you think that has changed the way you've made your product?
I think if you are an independent filmmaker, film company or whatever, I think it's the easiest way to get your first kind of handful of projects off the ground. It's really hard to get any sort of budget or funding from anybody, so if you can come up with a really original or inventive way to convince lovely geeks like us to part with your cash and cool things, and I think it's a really good way of getting your first project off the ground.
And in terms of the crowdfunding aspect of it, do you have to, it means surely you've got to be a bit more tighter with your budget because you can't afford to go over the amount you've already spent. How difficult is that to kind of do?
We find it okay. I've been making short films for about 8 years now, and I did a feature film a couple of years ago, so I'm kind of trained into not spending money we don't have. And our producer, who's not here, Emma, she's way back home, she makes sure that we do not spend a penny more than we have to.
Very good talent to have, that one.
Yes.
It's very easy, he just doesn't pay actors.
You need to take that back really quickly.
It's already too late, people have recorded it, it's going to be on YouTube. Even if I retract it, people are going to be saying that about you from this point onwards.
Thank you.
Yeah, you'll have...
We just don't pay.
You just don't pay me.
Yeah. We do that, this is not.
Okay, I'll retract that statement then.
So how did each of you come to be involved then in the project?
Myself?
Yep, all of you.
You go first.
Yeah, we'll go. Oh, okay. It was very difficult, well, not difficult, it was different for me because I actually met Fraser because I was doing a set at the Stand Comedy Club in Glasgow, and a mutual friend of ours, Mark, introduced me to Fraser, and we hit it off right away because I don't know if you can tell this, we're kind of nerdy. Don't know if that's, hang on, I'll rephrase that. We're kind of nerdy. This is going to be really bad, but the biggest cheer we got was because we pulled out a couple of sonic screwdrivers. So we, Alan's eat back then. We mostly just chatted, we noticed that we loved the same type of movies and music and so on and so forth, and at the time I helped out with a pilot which was Bloodline. And Fraser contacted me about Cops and Monsters, and I just grew from there. So it was a friendship that led to non-paying work.
I would just like to put on record that all of our actors get paid equity minimum. I just really need to put that down in case you all believe the comedian. It is actually equity minimum. So we don't get sued.
Yeah, okay.
Anne?
Okay. I have been a freelance editor for a fair number of years now, and Fraser and I met when we were actually on 2 different teams doing the 48-hour film challenge. I don't know if any of you knows about that or has done it. Essentially where you kind of make a short film in 48 hours. And we met after we'd done the first one, and essentially he kind of poached me and stole me from the team that I was on. And I've been working with him ever since, because as like there's a saying, we all kind of have similar tastes. We all want to do something to like, you know, the best possible standards that we can. But obviously, you know, there's not as big a scene in Glasgow as, well, I think there should be for kind of like indie TV productions and stuff. They just don't make, you know, what we want to watch. So we're watching things from down south, or we're watching things from the States. And I think there's enough talent here that we should be making it ourselves. So that's essentially what we're trying to do.
I love this man.
Yes, I was kind of the same as Des. We did a pilot called Bloodline, whereas I was brought on for that, which was probably, what, 2 or 3 years ago?
2 years ago.
2 years ago. Because I'd only actually just graduated from the academy and got asked to do that.
Yep.
And since then, I've pretty much been the DOP on everything that Fraser shot, just because I'm that good. And so it's really good sort of working with the same team over and over again. I have the same camera crew that I bring onto things. And Fraser came to me with like the idea for Cops and Monsters, and right from the start I was like, well, that sounds like I could do a lot of cool stuff. So I said yes, and we shot the minisode last year. January this year. Sorry. That was me.
Mr. Smith. Well, I met Fraser in the pub, so it was a networking event because I was interested in TV and I was interested in writing, so we went along. We got talking, found we had a lot in common interest-wise. We wanted to work on the same sort of stuff. Again, like Alice said, we agreed that in Scotland there's not an awful lot you can get involved in. There's not a lot of avenues and ways into this, so you know, we're talking about making our own stuff, getting stuff, just doing it instead of sitting back and waiting for things to happen. We're going to go and do it. And then we were talking about ideas, and I think it was in the pub again that we came up with the idea for Cops and Monsters, so there's a bit of a running theme here. But yeah, that's pretty much it. We spoke about it, decided that we liked the ideas, threw them back and forth, and went, why don't we just do it? Why don't we make a web series? And here we are. Here we are. Yeah. So that's what I'm going.
I'm basically the same. We met at a working night in Blackburn. Yeah, so the drink was flowing and so was the ideas, so it was a lot of fun, and we discovered we were both into like the supernatural and like Scottish mythology and all these other points, and decided it'd be really good if we actually got together and made something. So yeah, that's basically how it started.
And how did you come up with the ideas for that is now Cops and Monsters?
The true story is I was a collector mania 2 years ago, and I was just kind of walking around and I noticed that there wasn't anything from Scotland. And I was like, okay, or there wasn't kind of anything kind of locally produced or homegrown or whatever, and I kind of got really annoyed at it. And I just went, how cool would it be to walk around here and have a stall that was our stall, and people could come and get involved, and if you know, make it geeky as hell, because that's what we all love. And it just kind of bounced ideas off of that, and I just came up with a rough idea about a police team policing vampires, werewolves and zombies, and then I ran it by Ian and Amanda, and Ian and I got drunk in a pub, and drinking's not cool, don't do it. We just came up with the idea for the series there and then. We just kept on bouncing ideas off each other, yeah, until it just kind of stuck.
Then turning into a PSA there. But for all of you then, what's it been like to kind of see the genesis of this project now, from either meeting at a networking event or being in a pub or just from 48-hour film challenges into what we saw on a massive screen, which looked fantastic? How kind of pointer arrow moving? What's the screen then? Distracted. But what is it like to see that on a giant screen like that now? And think, wow, we did that.
It's really nice for me because that's our biggest screen I think we've ever seen it on. I don't know how you guys feel, but like, holy crap, that's our stuff. It's just really nice to go from an idea and spending months alone in a room writing to being here and showing it to all you guys, because we have made it for you guys, there's no doubt about it. We're geeks, you're geeks, we want you to have a show that is yours, which is also ours, and it's just really cool to see you guys watch it on a giant screen. It's just really, really nice, and we hope we can do more.
And with
we all agree?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
You're a bit worried though, and you're like, I hope do more, and it just went quiet. But when you were kind of putting together the actual, you've got the idea, you want to actually now write it, what kind of ideas did you use to get the story? And did you get input from any of the other team into that, other than just a writer, obviously? Did you get other ideas from other people? Was it because it seems quite a nice collaborative group of people that you got together. So how did that kind of influence what we saw there?
I think when Ian and I started writing it, and then we wrote the synopsis for the 6 episodes, and then we split it up between me, Ian and Amanda, when we started sending that out to people to kind of decide who's the cast going to be, who are the crew going to be, what's the visual style going to be, how we're going to edit it, how we're going to shoot it, everybody, costume designers, set designers, everybody just started to come back and say, well, I like this, what about this? And I have an idea here, I have an idea there, and we just kind of listen to everybody, and we just, it's a good democracy. We do listen to what we all have to say, and if we can implement whatever we're thinking, then we just can run with it. I think we all have a good say.
Yeah, a good point that I was just thinking of, because you mentioned it earlier, was sometimes they would write things, and I'd look at it and go, how are we going to shoot this?
Would that be Amanda by any chance?
Yeah, it'd be Amanda. She had like
street.
guns and a street scene with werewolves' bodies flying, and I was just about, is this going to be effects? Or can we figure out how we're shooting this? And then luckily Bruce was like, oh no, we cut that, we
Vetoed.
change it. So,
Sorry Amanda, we love your ideas really.
Yeah, thank you.
Right, we're going to open up the questioning as well. So if you have straight away, look.
Wow.
Oh, they're going everywhere. Look. Start off with you, and then you have a question.
This is one for all of you. What's your favourite paranormal creature and why?
Favourite paranormal creature?
Yeah, I don't know. I think I'd say a werewolf.
I think vampires for me.
Yeah,
because
I'd say
they're
vampires
just
for me.
not Twilight vampires, sorry. Now we all prefer Buffy and Angel vampires, right? I am from the Joss Whedon school of vampires. I grew up on Buffy and Angel, so yeah, I think. Come on, Spike, right?
I would probably have to say unicorn. For 2 reasons.
You just chose myself.
I did, yeah. For 2 reasons. First of all, it's a horse with a cornetto on its head. Which is always awesome. And second of all, I don't know if anybody actually knows this, but the unicorn is the official animal of Scotland. Why you cheered that, I don't know. But well done, Scotland. A horse with a cornetto on its head.
Yeah, I'd probably have to go vampire as well, but I would go kind of more gruesome and maybe like from Dusk Till Dawn type vampire, like, really, really badass.
Yeah.
That's what I would have to go. No Robert Pattinson, but someone really badass.
I think I'd pick werewolf just because I'm kind of always cold, so I'd probably make a really terrible vampire. Like, I think werewolves are meant to have, like, heat and warmth and stuff, so I think that would be kind of nice. And then you can actually just transform. Like, I think that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
I think I'd say zombie, just because you don't have to think too much about it. It seems like an easy life to me, just sort of eat things, walk about, bang into things. Seems like a good life that way.
I'd probably say werewolves, because vampires to me always seem so entitled. And so werewolves always just stay at the bad end of the stick all the time, so I'm going to go for Team Werewolves.
We actually have a song coming out for Cops and Monsters by a really nice singer-songwriter called Josephine Sillers from Inverness, and she wrote a song about being a werewolf. And we are going to be releasing it on Twitter, the Cops and Monsters Twitter, in a couple of weeks. So
Let's make it number 1.
surprise I should get.
And we have a question for Jeremy here.
I have 2 questions. First one's for Fraser.
Hello.
What's your main influence? And the second one's to all of you. What is your favourite kind of cheese?
I'll go first. Alright. I like Edam. My influences are Joss Whedon, definitely. When I went to college, it was a long, long time ago, it was Quentin Tarantino, because he's cool and everybody thinks they're Quentin Tarantino in film school. And then I grew up and became a real boy. And I ended up... It's good. And Joss Whedon just tells great stories with like 15 characters, and you care about every single one of them, so character development is really important to me. And your favourite cheese?
I'm sorry, the real boy likes to look over. I'm probably going to have to go with the tried honored and classic Derry Dunker. I think you'll find I am all class. Thank you very much.
These people coming in are going to be so confused.
I
talking
think
about
we're a
cheese.
nice breeze.
No wood for free.
What's a breeze? Thank you.
I would go with like baby milk.
Baby man?
You can take it with you and carry in your little lunchbox.
You can put the wax afterwards. Yeah,
You make things out of it.
I just want to think it's San Diego Comic Con.
What's your favourite cheese?
Cheese string is a type of cheese, right?
I'll go for Applewood. Why not?
That question was sponsored by Co-op Cheese Company. Okay.
Jeff Hardy, everyone's favourite cheesemonger.
I have a question for our lady here.
Working in the creative industry, I always think that people have different opinions on how they want something to look, like a scene or a character to look and appear. I just wonder how you settle differences when you have differences on how you want a scene to look.
A battle well said.
No, what worse.
I didn't catch what you
And just like if we have any disputes about how we want things to look, how do we settle?
Oh, I go high, I'm the executive producer, go away.
See, a lot of it's prep though. A lot of
yeah.
it's discussion in the beginning, because particularly with visual stuff, that's my department.
That's your department.
Which is why Fraser will sort of send me the script, and then possible influences. Buffy was one of them, like that sort of style, and I'll take that and have a look and just write whatever I feel like, what I think looks best, pretty much, and I'll send it to him. And luckily, that's why we work so well together, because he just goes, yeah, cool.
It's much easier that way.
A little bit, yeah, and then, but obviously if there's any problems, like I can foresee, like things like in the script, like that scene, I would sort of specials notes at the bottom and say, how are we doing this? Can we go talk about it? On set though, usually it's a case of, for my department, if Fraser asks me to do something and it's ever a no, I'll explain why. If it's, can we put the camera there? No, because you're messing up my lighting or something. There's always a reason. I never really say no unless I actually have a justification for it, and that's probably most people. It's the easiest way to get around fights on set. If you can tell them why you're saying no, most people are fairly okay with it.
We all have our own kind of specialties. So like we all kind of come together and we're like, well, that's not going to work for this reason, or this will work for that reason, and we all kind of work together. So we all know that we're here to help each other. We're here to like make whatever we're doing easier and make it the best that we can look, that it can look. So we all are very kind of. We work quite well together in that.
You always refer to other departments as well, because I would never say anything about editing, but if there's something we have to shoot, I'll talk to Anne and go, how do we do this? Can we do it editing? Really, this stuff's made between me and Anne. They just
learning it.
Maybe the director, everybody wants to be actually doing it.
Just writes the scripts.
And as writers, we just tend to make their lives a nightmare, so...
Exterior streets, lots of violence.
Yeah.